Hello everyone, it's Kat. Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. It might well be February, but I haven't seen you yet, so Happy New Year. I am actually in my bookcase at the moment because we're going to be discussing books today. It's a glass cabinet and the reflection was really irritating me, so I've opened it up so you can actually see the books and the vodka in my bookcase. And I'm sat in, kind of like in front in my bookcase, which I thought was quirky and fun. Anyway, that is totally off topic. Today we are here to talk about books, specifically the books that I read in 2021. I started a New Year's resolution last year in which I wanted to get back into reading. I used to really enjoy reading as a child, and then for some reason life kind of happened and hormones kind of happened and I just basically stopped reading. Essentially, I just wanted to get back into reading, and I thought that I would be able to achieve reading 12 books in 12 months. I didn't. But we're trying it again this year, so make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see all of the books that I read this year, next year. So let's get into it. Let me tell you what I have read in the last year and what I thought of the books and whether I recommend them or not. We're starting off with the book that I read in January, and this was a novel called Ghosts by an author called Jace T. Adams. Jace T. Adams is an indie author, so I recommend it for that reason alone. We need to support indie authors, definitely. It's a very, very easy book to read. However, the one thing I will say is that this is the sequel to one of the previous novels that he wrote, which was called Only When Cornered. Based on the same character, of course, so it's this is the second and final book, I believe. Very, very good, very easy to follow, easy to read. I have to say that I actually preferred the sequel to Only When Cornered. It's no particular reason, they're both great books, but I just really fell in love with this book. I really loved it. I loved the way it was written. I love the way it kind of like went off and then always came back to where we came back to the main plot. It was just really great. I really enjoyed it. And also make sure that you watch until the end of the video because I have an exclusive interview with Jace T. Adams. So we're going to be talking to Jace at the end of the video, so make sure that you watch to the end so you can see that. Right, so the next book I read was How to Live Vegan by Bosch. Now, I found out about Bosch on Facebook, so I kept seeing these videos pop up where they were trying out different vegan recipes and making up their own vegan recipes, and I've been following them for quite some time. I just want to say now, to make it clear, I'm not vegan. I am vegetarian, but I eat dairy and eggs. But the thing is that this is a great book because it doesn't matter whether you're vegetarian, pescatarian, just trying to cut down a little bit on meat. It doesn't matter because this is educational and it doesn't feel like you're being judged, which is quite nice. It's just purely educational. The only thing I would say is if you are already vegan, I wouldn't bother because I can almost guarantee that you're already going to have all of the knowledge that this book could give you. Right, what did I read next? Oh, it was this one. This one, curiously, was actually one of my favourites that I read last year. It was Bronson by Charles Bronson. If you don't know who Charles Bronson is, then there is a movie, which is why Tom Hardy is on the front of this book. There is a movie, but obviously it was based on the real person, Charles Bronson. And it is a fascinating movie, but an even better book. Oh my goodness, it was a really great book. It was gripping, it was emotional, and I really enjoyed it because it really gave you an insight into his kind of thought process and his brain and the way he is, the way he behaves. There's almost a reason behind it, sort of. So this was another book that I bought when I was in the UK alongside the Bosch How to Live Vegan book, and it is Wicker by Harmony Nice. Harmony Nice is a YouTuber, was a YouTuber. She's not doing videos anymore. I do believe she left all of her previous educational Wiccan videos up, but she's not doing anything new, which is a bit of a shame because I really did enjoy her videos. That's obviously the reason I bought this in the first place. It was really, really nice to read this. Again, very educational if you are not too familiar with the basics, and it gives you a lot of different references to go to if you are familiar with the basics. It was a pleasant read. The next book I read had been in my collection for probably about 15 years, and I've picked it up a couple of times and tried to read it, but I haven't been able to, and here's why. It's called Barry Trotter and the Shameless Parody by Michael Gerber. One part I did enjoy about it was the witty and funny play on words. So along the lines of Harry Potter, Barry Trotter, Hogwarts, Hogwash, Lord Voldemort, Lord Valuemart. But then the trouble is that the more you get into it, I just feel like it was just childish, crude toilet humour, and that's not really what I'm into, but there we go. Some books are just not meant to be. The next book I read, this was the second to last book I read, was According to Yes by Dawn French. Yes, it's the Dawn French that you're thinking of. French and Saunders, Vicar of Dibley, amazing. Comedy genius, this woman. I love Dawn French, and I especially love Dawn French with Jennifer Saunders. But obviously this is Dawn French's own novel, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's written in the way Dawn French speaks. Hopefully you know what I mean by that. It started off very, very strong. It took a very unexpected turn, and then kind of became a bit predictable. Either way, it was still a great read, and I still think I managed to read it in a space of like 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, it was really good. It's definitely an easy read if you're sitting by the poolside, or if you're on a flight, or if you're just reading on a casual Sunday afternoon. It's a good one for that. Right, now we are on to the final book that I read in 2021, which was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I think that's the first time I've said fuck on my channel. Just so we know, the book is in a horrendous state. It's not my book. The owner of this book had an accident when he took it to the beach, when a bottle of orange juice exploded in the boot and destroyed the book. I haven't actually seen them for months, so I haven't actually been able to give it back. If you're watching this, I will give it back, I promise, but you need to contact me. We need to go for a drink soon. I was very, very grateful to have been able to borrow this book for such a long time, because it really did change my attitude completely, and it really did me an awful lot of good in so many different ways. It's just really, really good. It's really good. I can't recommend this book enough to literally everyone. So if you haven't read it yet, I strongly recommend. Oh, sorry, I never even told you the author. The author is called Mark Manson. He's also done another book as well. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, but I may potentially read that one this year. So I may be talking about that in my books I read in 2022 in 12 months' time. Now we're off to go and speak to the one and only indie author, Jace T. Adams. If you've made it this far in the video, then I hope you've really enjoyed my book recommendations, and I hope you enjoy the following interview. Hello and welcome to a different background. I am joined now by my lovely friend and the one and only author, Jace T. Adams. I'm going to call you Jace. I'm not going to keep calling you Jace T. Adams.
No, that would be silly.
Yes, for an exclusive kind of interview thing. I don't really want to call it an interview, because if we call it an interview, then I've got all these expectations that I'm probably not going to match up to.
It's a chat. We're good.
It's a chat. It's a chat. We're having a chat. So as I mentioned earlier in my video, obviously Jace's book was the first book that I read in 2021, which I have right here, Ghosts. And we're just going to talk a little bit about that. Now, I didn't actually say anything about what the book was about or anything. I just obviously recommended it and said, oh, it's a great book, but I didn't actually say anything what it's about. I didn't want to give too much away. So do you want to take over and let us know a little bit about what,
Absolutely, yes.
what the story is?
Yeah, we do have to be careful. There's a lot happening in this book, of course. It's a thriller, it's a drama, it's psychological. She goes on a long journey. Essentially, with the ghost, you have to face the ghost in order to eradicate it. And that's sort of the vibe without giving too much away. There's a lot of crime, there's a lot of drama.
It's really difficult to describe what it's all about.
It is, yes, because it goes so quickly. There's so much. There's a few deaths. There's the odd kidnapping. There's quite a lot going on there.
There is a lot going on there. It's a great book. It was great, really good fun. And I actually mentioned as well earlier that it was one of my favourites. I preferred Ghosts to Only When Cornered, which was the first one in the series.
Oh, that's interesting to know. That's
good.
It
was, yes. I really enjoyed it, especially the first half, because it was really, really gripping. Like, there was a lot going on.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that a lot. So actually, speaking of the series as well, I wanted to ask you, will there be a third instalment, potentially?
Potentially, yes, definitely. Obviously, this is, as you know, this is a continuation of the Amy Proctor character, so that begun in Only When Cornered, and the conception of that character and her journey in that first book was always that it was going to continue. I think she's such an interesting character, and I think there's just so much potential there. There's no depths that she won't plunge to. There's no height that she couldn't achieve. You know, she's very ambitious, but there's a lot of darkness there going on. And I love that, she starts very young. She starts at the age of 21 years old, and I love this idea of her in her 30s. You know, she could be in the murky world of politics. She could be lying face down in the gutter. She could be pretty much anything, and you would kind of believe it. There is a third one mapped out.
Really?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, see, now you haven't actually ever told me that.
Oh really?
No.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. Okay. Is that something that you're working on now, or is it going to be like for the future?
Not right now. I've got a book going to be published this year.
I didn't realise it was going to be this year.
This year, yes, absolutely. And then there's one that's planned for 2023.
Okay.
That's going to be released, I think, in the first quarter of 2023.
Yeah.
After that, fairly open. Maybe then after that, it'll be time for another Amy journey.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's great.
The book that's going to be released this year was actually alongside Only When Cornered, my first idea.
Really?
Yes. So
you've done things completely backwards.
Completely. It's taken me about 10 years to get to my first idea, essentially.
Are we allowed to know what they are or what it's about?
I can tell you a little bit, of course. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but the one coming this year is, it's a big one.
Yeah?
It's very big. It's a very, very, very ambitious book. It's very dramatic. It's a suspense novel. It's going to be very, very intense psychological look at these characters and the journey. And it's very deep. It's very literary. It's fast paced. Also, it's a journey. There's a lot of surprises in the book.
It sounds exciting. There's a lot of twists and turns.
Lots of twists and turns.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, another thing I know you're working on quite avidly at the moment is your blog, because you just started your blog at the beginning of this year, didn't you?
I did. That took a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, I really enjoyed it actually, because it's like snippets of your style of writing.
Yeah.
So you can still, like when you're waiting in between books, then you've got a little bit of something to read, sort of thing. So that's one thing actually. I'm going to make sure that's in the description box below, so that the link to your blog, so that people can go find you on there.
I really resisted the idea of doing a blog for a long time, and it's as a writing exercise. it's writing in first person, and it feels kind of personal because I'm not writing about characters, I'm not writing about fiction, I'm writing about my own thoughts and musings on things and things like that, which it feels very, very different. So I really did resist this idea for a long time.
And also, I was going to ask you what other social medias people can find you on, because I'm obviously following Jace on Instagram and on Facebook. Is Instagram, Facebook, and your main page? Is that right?
My main website, Facebook, Jace T. Adams Author, and Instagram, of course.
All of those links will be down below as well, so you can go and follow Jace. Much appreciated if you do. And finally, I was going to ask you what books you could recommend to me, because I'm going to try again. I am going to try and do my 12 books this year. I'm on book 5 at the moment. I'm doing very, very well. But what would you recommend for me to read this year, apart from your own books, obviously?
Apart from my own, of course, yeah. But the ones that I would recommend Sir Terry Pratchett to anybody. The Discworld novels. I think once you get into those, I can reread them. I can read them and read them and read them, and there are so many. It's you do a loop and you come back to them. They're wonderful, and the thing is, they're very funny.
Yeah.
They're very special. But the further he went in his career, the deeper he gets. The more the characters develop, the more you get into the psychology, the more serious it becomes. Yeah, he's a very, very inspirational writer.
See, that's one thing I've never read Terry Pratchett before, because there's quite a few books, isn't there?
Oh, a lot. Yes.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be quite difficult to get into something like that, really, because it's a bit like starting a series when there's already like 5 seasons.
That's true, but the fun of that is I love doing that.
Do you?
I love doing that.
I just can't do that. I can't give things up once I've started it as well.
Oh.
I find it really difficult to stop watching something or stop reading something if I've started it.
Do you cling on to the hope that it's going to get better?
Yeah, always. And I do that with series, and I waste so many days of my life trying to do this.
See, this could be dangerous with Terry Pratchett, because the Discworld novels, I think there were 40 or 50.
40 or 50 books?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. But how long are they? Are they like mini stories, or are they like full blown? You're joking! Oh my god, this guy clearly had nothing to do.
I mean, they started in the 1980s.
Okay, that's fair. Oh dear me. Right, okay, I'm going to switch this off now, I think. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. It's been really, really nice.
Thank you. I love your channel, and it's very nice to take part.
Good. So that is it from me for now. I will be seeing you again very, very soon, I expect. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, then my handles will be at the end of the video as always. And I will see you again soon. Bye.